You could have shown up to game day with a basic 7-layer dip, but you didn't. You called an audible and swapped the sour cream layer for Philadelphia cream cheese. Now, words like creamy and delicious are flying around the room, and your dip
so good
is getting more looks than a top fantasy wideout. You don't follow a recipe, you Philly it whenever you Philly like it. Philadelphia cream cheese.
Fan. Welcome back to the show.
Take care, Polly Wally.
Why don't you put your pants back on, Slappy?
Stop it! A little hoop action. A little baseball action.
You gotta be raping me!
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
I've been all right. How you doing, Pierre?
9 to noon.
Oh, my.
9 to noon.
Wasn't that good?
Thank you, Minneapolis.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
Hashtag Fake Radio.
That's us.
That's my Uncle Paul.
Ain't you sweet?
Hold on to your butt.
No, thank you. All righty now. 1, 2, 3, and all righty. Here we go with Thursday in 3, 2, and base. It's 9 to noon on Minnesota's audio sports leader. And here's the deal. The Twins are a loss at home today from being swept by the 52-win White Sox. There have to be those within the walls of the red, white, and blue covenant who are like, this sucker just needs to end so we can figure out some things in the offseason. The Southsiders have 52 wins, which is second worst in the game and only ahead of the 39-win Ponzi scheme known as the Colorado Rockies from the Mile Get High City.
I believe that means after yesterday's loss that the Twins, in fact, have a losing record against that team with 52 victories, second least in the game in 2025. That's bad for business, I think. Bad for business.
This show is naughty and might make you a potty mouth.
Zach Parise was a stud when he played and is going into the USA Hockey Hall of Fame. Nothing new out Los Angeles way regarding the wink, wink, ink, ink with Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers. Okay. Joe Smith, speaking of wink, wink, ink, ink, Joe Smith with The Athletic writes Wild owner Craig Leopold thinks the team is very, very close to extending Kirill Kaprizov. Ooh. And all around the land, Rubes are setting fantasy football lineups because tonight's the night.
It's game night.
The 2025 season is in the air. Fantasy football lineups being set all across the Great Divide.
Why don't you give me half the money you were going to bet? Then we'll go out back, I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
No, thank you. It's Team Tumult versus the champs. The Dallas Cowboys are 8.5-point underdogs at Philly as the Eagles aim to become the first team in 2 decades to go back-to-back in the NFC East. How will Dallas respond a week after the owner traded one of the team's best players? Are Dallas sports fans breaking the legs of therapeutic Davenports of love after enduring 2 of their favorites, Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons, being traded out of town within 7 months? That's a kick right in the fandom. Do old schoolers really care how Dallas fans feel after stealing your beloved North Stars. Will the Eagles milk Saquon Barkley for another season with like 2,000 rushing yards on perhaps another near 350 carry season? Who beats the champs? Tonight we witness the NFL's target at which to shoot. Now, there are 2 L's make that 3 L's in Philadelphia Eagles, and they have 8 games up to the bye. So, can we find 3 L's in said equation up to the bye? Maybe 2. It goes like this.
For the Eagles?
For the champs. You got 3 L's in Philadelphia Eagles, but you got no L's right now because nobody has any L's. Dallas tonight, at KC in 10 days, LA Rams, at Tampa Bay, Denver at home, at the Giants, at the Vikings, then the New York Giants at Philly Freedom. Then the bye week chill. How many fly Eagles, fly L's do we find in that equation? Ladies and gentlemen, from the fighting city of Mankato, on stage he's known as Mad Producer 1, but in our hearts he's Eric Nordquist, producer of 9 to Noon. So please slap W's and L's with a Y on these games. And here we go, and good morning.
Good morning. Under the bright lights of Lincoln Financial Field, they will win this evening, PA.
At KC week 2. And they got 10 days to get ready for the mug.
I believe they will win that game at Arrowhead week 2. They will be 2-0.
I'm going to argue with you on that. Then.
Well, it's tough. Mahomes never loses in September, it feels like.
Right.
You get him early, right? Like Burrow finishes strong in December if we're looking at trends. But, and Mahomes just is always good. I'm going to go 2-0. Yes, 2-0. And then they will be 3-0 on a Sunday afternoon, September 21st, when they host McVay's Rams.
McVay's Rams featuring Puka Nacua. Nakua, do you satisfied? Woodapa Puka. He's Puka. Nakua, do you satisfied? All right, so you say 3-0. I think that Rams thing's a little trickier than you do. At Tampa Bay next.
Tampa Bay is where I'm looking at it being tricky. All things considered, all rosters the same, everybody in the mix. There's something about Bowles and the Bucks that know how to figure out what they're doing up in Philly. I'm going to say the Bucks win, and I'm going to say that the Eagles lose week 4 at the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay.
A very formidable bird, these Eagles. Who knew they knew how to walk a plank? Alrighty, so what do we got?
I love watching you make sure you found the sounder for that.
We got Denver. We have your chic and vogue Denver Broncos at Lincoln Financial for what would be the 5th game on the docket.
Yeah, the Broncos. As I said, I think they got a chance to go to the AFC title game this year.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be because of a victory at Lincoln Financial. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. So the Eagles will be 4-1 through 5
at the New York Giants.
That's a victory. Yeah.
At the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, don't tug on my heartstrings.
9 to Noon.
I haven't been able to mentally get over a hump where even the rubest of rube in me can say that the Vikings will handle the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe that the Eagles should be favored in that game. I believe we're coming out of a bye, so you kind of you play that game a little bit. You're back on Central Time, feeling good about yourself, and it's at home. Mm-hmm. It's a tough game. I would lean Eagles in that game. They are now 6-1,
and then they have the Malik Neighbors-led New York Giants at home and into the bye.
Yeah, so I mean, so
we can't find 2 or 3 L's in Philadelphia Eagles.
No, they're 7-1 into the break.
Mother.
Yeah, this is not good.
The champions, as we will note tonight when they play what's known in the business as 4-3 base, they start a Jalix Hunt at outside linebacker.
Who?
Exactly. Jalix Hunt at outside linebacker. My man's in his 2nd year from Houston Christian University. What the heck is this all about? How'd they find him? I mean, are we going to be saying that at like 7:45 tonight? Jalix Hunt. How'd they find him?
That's all they do in the draft, man. That's all they do, from the Georgia kids to...
And I think it was a third rounder, too.
And even, I mean, it's just... And it hurts to praise them in the same way for the Saints, maybe different reasons. We go back to the Philly flop.
Oh, get over it.
I may never be over it.
Same.
They just find their way. For instance, this year, they just kind of chill and they wait. They're the champs. And they just find their way probably to the best middle linebacker in the draft in Jahad Campbell. No big deal. He went to Bama. I know Bama's having trouble right now with DeBoer and just getting waxed by Florida State, but still Bama. Still Bama cred. Zach Bond, they kind of pick up him off the scrap heap a couple years ago, turn him into one of the best linebackers in the NFL. The Georgia kids, I mean, they got first rounders. I mean, Jordan Davis, fat cat in the middle, first rounder. Jalen Carter, top 10 pick. Nolan Smith from a couple of years ago, first round pick. They got first rounder. Quinyon Mitchell from a year ago, first round pick. Cooper DeJean, thought to be first round talent.
Yeah.
They get him in the second round. They have high end, young, drafted, cultivated, homegrown product.
Well,
and it's always working.
Well, at least this young stud talent doesn't occupy key positions on football teams like defensive line.
I always love that one.
Okay. So, Jalix Hunt, you say. Houston Christian University, the home of Bailey Zappi. GM Howie Roseman, though. Cowboys fans have to be super excited to watch Damone Clark and or Marist Lee Ofau man the spot Micah Parsons used to occupy. How excited are they? Saquon Barkley against those guys and Jack Sanborn. I ain't kidding, man. Unless that ESPN depth chart I looked at was a little dated. But how excited is Saquon Barkley against something called Damone Clark, Marist Leofau, and the skeletal remains of the former Bear tackling machine, Jack Sanborn. Wow. I mean, it sounds like 250-2 for the best back in the NFL tonight. And the Cowboys are so history rich with running backs. Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, Calvin Hill.
You're going to do it.
Julius Jones.
I'll do it.
DeMarco Murray, Robert Newhouse, and now Javonte Williams.
I always love that one.
Miles Sanders.
I always love that one.
And Jay Domblue.
I always love that one.
Wow.
Let me ask you this.
Wow.
So with that defense and those names, and you hit on them, and they got Dante Fowler. I didn't even know he was still in the league. He's been a gun for hire for half a decade, it feels like.
At least.
But Lieber was on. We're going to have him at 10. Pumped to have him in studio.
Same.
He kind of made an interesting point about this Micah Parsons thing, where the fan base is crushed. One of the elite players in the NFL is gone, traded. The owner kind of puts the negotiations or the lack thereof out in the public, as he has done for 3.5 decades.
Right.
But you'd never heard anything under the cover of darkness from players. Like, you didn't hear Trayvon Diggs, and Lieber, when he's here with us at 10, maybe we can bring it up and he can articulate it better than I can. But kind of the idea of, you never heard like Trayvon Diggs on a podcast, or Sam Williams, or the aforementioned Jack Sanborn. Maybe he didn't say anything because he wanted the opportunity. Who knows? Oh, Diggy Zua.
I don't even know if Jack Sanborn talks.
You never heard this under the radar clamoring of, are you really kidding me with this, Jerry? Are you really kidding me? You're going to do this to Micah? Right. You're going to do this to our alpha, to our leader, to the patriarch of our defense, and one of the most notable players on this team? You never heard that.
He stonewalled Emmitt Smith for 3 games, and eventually they were so bad, and I saw this in America's Team, they were so bad, the players were beating him down and browbeating him, saying, what are we doing here? Are you kidding me? And then Emmett came back, and I think they won the Super Bowl.
But so I'm just curious. I wonder mentally what that group is. And you can't just shed talent, right? You can't just go, no big deal that your atopic player is gone.
Of course not.
But potentially inside that locker room, are they hurt by it? Are they crushed by it?
Right.
Because you've seen none of that, which you typically do. I would say, for instance, God forbid, of course, but the Vikings couldn't figure out how to keep Justin Jefferson in the covenant, you would have heard some things like, this is our dog.
Yep.
This is our bro. This is a leader on this team. This is your energy amplifier and a highlight player, by the way.
Who's going to do the gritty now?
But people, you didn't necessarily hear a ton of weeping and gnashing of teeth when Micah said goodbye. So that doesn't mean they're going to roll out today and, we might lose 9, but not tonight type of thing. It's not going to be miracle on turf at Lincoln Financial, I don't believe. But I'm curious if it really hurt them the way that it feels from an X's and O's standpoint.
It feels like the village will isolate itself to individual accolades, contracts, bonuses, and money's made. So in other words, Jerry, if you don't care about the team, why should I care about the team? I'm going to go out there and get mine. And then Jerry's going to be like, you want to talk about somebody saying, I got mine? Have the Dallas Cowboys become the Colorado Rockies? Like, we don't care if we win or lose. We'll fill the stadium every game and crush with the bottom line. So Jerry can be like, I got mine. It's estimated the Dallas Cowboys profited $629 million last year, and their estimated revenue is $1.2 billion. The Blue Star may be tarnished, but the owner and the executives are absolutely in the black, as in black gold and Texas tea.
Well, if they have those $3 Coors down at Dallas Stadium like they do out Denver way, you can keep that stadium pretty full.
They got Texas tea because they got a lot of black gold. And, of course, the Minnesota Vikings are at Chicago Monday at 7:15 on these audio waves. Minnesota is a 1.5-point favorite against Caleb Williams and Ben's Baby Bears. And the over-under is 44.5. The closer we get to the game, the more I'm thinking it's of the underwhelming variety. And then you bring that up to somebody of the learned variety, and they'll start peppering yours truly just to put the mental pedal to the metal to make sure everything's all buttoned up. And the response will be like, yeah, but when Ben was with Detroit, he went for 30.5 a game against this Flores defense. But Ben ain't in Detroit right now. And this is the first game where fundamentals matter more than system and scheme. And there are myriad unscouted looks to be had. Who's favored in the unscouted looks department? The guy with the treats and the 14 wins from last year, or the guy with the tricks up every single pant leg and tattered sleeve he has with his new Bears garb?
43.5 the total.
43.5, not 44.5.
43. So I think there might be at least a couple people as we inch closer that are starting to feel that vibe of Caleb torn down to the studs.
Yeah.
Chicago kid in Minnesota making his first career start in Chicago. There will be mistakes made. And the advantage of both defenses, by the way, accomplished coordinators both in Flores and in Dennis Allen working against said debut / new birth. If you're a Caleb Williams fan, 43.5 and falling the total on Monday night's game.
Think about that. You start the season with a Monday night football smash, a spotty, and it's under 43.5, and then the thing finishes 34-26, and you look at your dog and you're like, did I just really play an under with teams coached by Kevin O'Connell and Ben Johnson?
Why don't you give me half the money you were going to bet? Then we'll go out back, I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
Ben Lieber here at 10 o'clock to chat about all that. Then ESPN's Courtney Cronin around 11 o'clock. Some nuggets for you before we pause. Caleb Williams, yards per attempt last season, a paltry 6.3, which ranked 33rd, meaning he was behind some backup L who had at least 100 snaps and a better yards per attempt. But Ben, right? DJ Moore had 98 receptions last year, which was a career high. But his 9.5 yards per catch, a career low. But Ben, Jonathan Grenard and the Genk last season combined for 23.5 sacks and 36 tackles for loss, which led to 24 Minnesota Vikings interceptions, most in the league, and 33 takes overall. Was tied for first in the NFL. And finally, how about this beauty? In Kevin O'Connell's 3 years leading the Minnesota Vikings, the beloved purple and gold, it's clear he likes to strike downfield. During said span, Minnesota is tops in attempts, completions, and yards with passes 10 yards down the field or more. So what does that mean Monday with J.J. McCarthy playing in his first meaningful game since January 8th of 2024 when he and the Maize and Blue smacked Michael Penix and the Washington Huskies. The Friday Football Feast is at Buffalo Wild Wings Oakdale tomorrow, and we have some second to none, meticulously prepared Vikes Bites for you next. We thank TimberTech and TimberTech.com for everything that's on deck 9 to noon. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Vikes Bites are next. This is FM 100.3 KFAN.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. Vikes Bites, always presented by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
Pat Williams.
And you can shop online. A box of meat will show up at your doorstep. It'll be nutrient-dense. It'll be via regenerative agriculture is how it got there. It's farm-fed. It's delicious beef. And you can also get it at Kowalski's and Co-op's locations. And Coburn's as well. They're proud sponsors of the Gophers. And they're a Clearwater, Minnesota product themselves. Matt and everybody, thank you so much. But let's focus not on the Gophers, but on the purple, as I got some KO and some JJ cuts. KO and JJ cuts. We'll start with the coach before we hear from the QB. And first and foremost, here is Kevin O'Connell talking about Harrison Smith.
Harrison Smith participated in the walkthrough. He will not practice today, but the hope is we can ramp him up. He's back in the building and meetings and building up his workload for the week. So we'll see where he's at throughout the remainder of the week.
So I'll admit it, watching practices, we got the chance earlier this week to go to the facility, do the show, but until this really popped, I'm trying to think maybe over the weekend or 5-6 days ago, it was not necessarily a thought in my head, PA, that, hey, I wonder what Hitman's up to health-wise.
Right.
But then you actually do focus on it, you're like, yeah, he kind of hasn't been in the mix for like 2 weeks now. Like, what's up with that? So, we'll all have to wait in terms of, and maybe we'll never truly get what this personal health situation is all about and drill into that. But in the meantime, this is something we'll do every week throughout the season. But week 1 in particular, on a Monday game, you get your first injury report on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And we'll follow that. This will be a talker, PA, into the weekend, won't it?
Yeah, the way this thing's playing out, it seems clear to me without talking to anybody about it. I haven't asked anybody about this. It seems to me the way the team is talking about it, that when Harrison speaks with the assembled media, the conduit to the public, they are leaving it up to Harrison, beloved Hitman, to share what he wants to share. This just doesn't seem like it's something like the team's interested in sharing,
right, or
has been told not to share. And if and or when Hitman is back and baby steps, walkthroughs before practices before games and stuff like that, Harry will he'll talk. He always he talks a fair amount, generally on the side, not in press conference fashion. And if he wants to share, he'll share. If not, he won't.
Vikes Bites. Just hoping Tutu's healthy, and hopefully, as soon as possible for him, the team, and everybody involved. Speaking of health, here is head coach KO, Kevin O'Connell, talking about Christian Darrisaw as he is ramping his way back up towards playing.
He'll practice today, and we've always with CD, just with how committed he's been to taking the daily approach, we've done the same with him. So we're, going to progress as forward and be smart, but we're going to give him every opportunity to practice and then see how he feels, and then ultimately, in regards to his availability, we'll make that decision as the week progresses.
That'll be something to watch. Full participant, how they play that game of the verbiage on the injury report, but still very excited that Christian Darrisaw, as we near the eve of week 1 on a Monday night at Soldier Field, that our high-end left tackle is going to be back in the mix.
Yeah, I was at that press conference yesterday, and I took some notes I can't find now. But O'Connell said about Darrisaw that he would take all the snaps. He would practice every play in yesterday's practice. So he did drop that morsel for us. Then I read a quote last night from CD, and he was like, "It's up to the trainers and it's up to the head coach."
Yep.
So, yeah, he didn't even really say, "I expect to play, but it's up to those guys." So that part's shrouded in a little bit of covert darkness. But the fact that the first key practice up to the first game of the season, head coach says he will practice every play today.
Yep.
I think that's the A topic.
Well, and I think that's the tell, only because if Justin's school, if this was truly in doubt, you would want more reps for school to be in that spot over the course of this practice week.
Right.
Just in case.
Darrisaw will take all the reps at Wednesday's practice. That's how he put it.
Oh, perfect. Did you find the notes or did you spill coffee? Oh, you got the notes. Okay, perfect. Yep. One more Vike Bite from KO, specifically about Dallas Turner.
He's got time in the system. He's got really some great reps logged, from last year where he can build on that into the offseason program, into training camp. He's been a guy that time and time again has shown up. So we really do feel very fortunate to have that 3-starter feel to that edge position with those 3 guys.
I just found that that was an interesting quote from him yesterday.
Agreed.
And I think he alluded to it as well during your X's and O's chat at TCO on Tuesday, kind of using that we have 3 starters. That kind of excites me about how Flores will deploy Turner. And, we were talking earlier in the week, just kind of, let's see when the injury report comes out. How's Gink doing? How are all the guys doing, et cetera?
They're all back.
They're all back. And how he is finding his way into getting those reps, Dallas Turner, with Gink and with Grenard on the line.
Yeah, that's the Dallas Turner portion of the equation in Monday's game, and also in the early stages of the season, while they're establishing the who, what, where, when, and why of who plays, is how they're going to use Dallas Turner. Now, Van Ginkel was off to the side, and he didn't practice a decent little amount at the end of training camp, so there could be some substituting there.
Yeah.
Grenard's 10 of 10 full go. I would imagine Gink's 10 of 10 full go. If that's the case, what do you do with Dallas Turner? How are they going to deploy Dallas Turner? I wrote this down to include in the pregame chat with Kevin O'Connell that we tape on Sunday and play it back on Monday. But I think Dallas Turner factors into this. He said something along the lines of, frequently week 1, it's fundamentals over scheme and unscouted looks. So unscouted looks, I get that. Fundamentals over scheme, I want to know how that factors into things. But unscouted looks would be Dallas Turner coming from areas that Ben Johnson and that group didn't seem, from which he didn't play last year. Maybe it's more. With Turner on the inside, there was a lot of feigning with him inside. In other words, look at Dallas in the A gap. Here he comes. Then he backs off. And they tried it against Ben Johnson and the Lions for about 5 minutes. And then I don't think they used it the rest of the season. So Dallas Turner's part of a handful of big-time, intriguing facets from Vikings football into Game 1.
And probably the most intriguing, bites, will be how J.J. McCarthy handles the bright lights on Monday night. Those emotions. What do you think, J.J.?
I just try to be completely present. At the end of the day, there's going to be, anxiousness, excitement, and, a whole lot of adrenaline. But at the end of the day, that's completely normal. And, accepting those emotions, you're able to let go of them a lot quicker than trying to deflect them and avoid them. So, I know I'm going to be amped up, but at the end of the day, I know that, Coach O'Connell is going to put me in a great position, and my teammates around me are going to, do everything they can to make sure we're successful each and every play.
One thing I'm really excited about is, as pumped as I am for Monday night, I'll be amped. I'll be amped here at the station, ready to do Vikings Fan Line and hopefully chat about a victory. I'm going to be excited for Tuesday morning, PA. And the reason for that is we will actually get to react to on-field plays and a game that occurred versus projecting forward.
Well, great.
So thinking back to preseason, you didn't get to see much of him on the field in an actual preseason game. He gets the one series. The joints were kind of the A topic for him, certainly. But it was kind of like, okay, well, he led Addison on this one play a little too far. Ooh, that was Lucky Jackson, I think, running some sort of post or something. And he overthrew him a bit. Found the fourth down conversion with his legs. All that. So we had like 11 or 12 plays, and we were really, we were digging it deep into the weeds just to kind of pull any more so that we could.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
bro, I spent 10 minutes on Tim Settle giving Donovan Jackson his welcome to the NFL moment on like the 7th play of the preseason.
Yeah.
Because those moments matter within the covenant. They matter to those who play in the cliche trenches. But that's where we were, and we ain't there right now.
So I'm gripping at these individual, in some ways, inconsequential plays in the grand scheme of things, trying to find anything that I could. And I came away from that Texans game thinking to myself, he seemed a little juiced. It seemed like he was a little excited, as he should be, to come out. No fire from the dragon's mouth anymore. No thanks to Nissan Stadium. But he comes out, crowds pumped to see him there. We've been all waiting for this moment. He comes out, mostly executes. You get points on the first drive there, but you had so little out of it. I'm just thinking to myself, he's a little amped. And so, again, projecting forward, I am that first drive at Soldier Field under the lights, how he handles that. That is the A topic of A topics into week one, really, for me, is handling those emotions, J.J. McCarthy.
Because he's the quarterback. And that is in the ultimate team game, he's the one that touches the rock the most.
Yeah.
He's the trigger man. I think I know what Montez is doing, but we got this cat named Hardy who nobody knows about, who's like their third defensive end. Well, what's he going to do? And you got to process all those things. So, yes, very, 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 very important because he's the trigger man. But this is also Donovan Jackson's debut against Grady Jarrett.
Which could impact.
How's the Ohio State kid feel? Grady's in his 11th year, and he's definitely in the second half of his career, but he's Grady Jarrett.
Yeah.
He's the bomb. Grady Jarrett's the bomb.
So what if the amped or poise or the preposterousness of a debut for a QB is impacted by the debut of a left guard who can either give that QB an extra half second on the dropbacks, or Grady Jarrett is at the QB's lap 5 times on Monday night.
Are you familiar with somebody named Torrey Taylor?
Yeah, punter.
For
the Chicago Bears, maybe you went to Iowa?
You want to talk about nerves? Miles Price.
Oh my gosh.
Undrafted Indiana, no punt return touchdowns in college. He might be back on the kicks, too, with Ty Felton. Miles Price hasn't returned a kick since 2020 when he played for Texas Tech. Yeah, I know he returned him in the preseason, but I'm talking about games that count. So the hyper focus is going to be on moving the meter, which is J.J. McCarthy-related conversation. But alas, let's not forget Donovan Jackson's making his debut opposite Grady Jarrett, and Miles Price, undrafted Miles Price, who now wears number 4, so he doesn't have the weird running back number anymore. Unless something has changed, the undrafted cat is the punt returner. In a game, there may be a fair amount of punts.
Oh my God.
You talk about nerves, holy cow.
Do you think after they see Miles Price return a punt or two on Monday night, you're going to be in Soldier Field, so you'll pay witness to this, you and Bursich, as close to the fans, I believe, at Soldier Field, your Vox Box is, as any stadium in the NFL?
Video game angle.
Do you think after he runs a couple of back on the third one, the person who's in charge, keeps the vibe going at Soldier Field is going to slip, harken back to the days of old, and just hit it. No better intro, maybe, in the last 20 years.
Best ever.
In the NFL than when Devin Hester would come onto the field for a punt return.
I just hope that
Miles Price.
The fans where we're located behind the Bears bench, about the 25-yard line, like seriously in the 25th row. Now, there's an overhang above us, so we can't see punts when they get in the air and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's super low video game-like angle. I mean, it's you can hear players yell on the Bears bench and stuff like that.
That's sweet.
But I think it's a club level. So, I mean, whether it was Molly or Shirley or Lisa or Bill or Steve or Tom, there are a group of fans that have been in front of Bursich and I for many, many years. Don't think we saw them last year, like season ticket holders. I just hope there's a point, middle of the second quarter, where Aaron Jones and or Jordan Mason are running so well against this Bears defense, they're pining for the return of Jack Sanborn.
I always love that one.
Never should have let him go. I told you, Bill.
One that got away.
You argued with me about that in free. I told you, Sanborn's a tackling machine.
One more little Vikes bite or nibble, if you will.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy, super pumped that Thielen's back.
Absolutely thrilled. Just everything that guy's about. He's a leader. He's a technician. He works his absolute butt off. And, at the end of the day, he's probably one of the greatest guys I've ever been around. So just adding that addition to our team is, extremely invaluable, and it does a lot for our room and our offense.
So the reason I played that, everybody's happy Thielen's back and, what he can still produce.
Oh, Adam got juice.
His offense. Yeah, absolutely.
Adam got juice.
And so, but every time J.J. McCarthy, I mean, I want to know who the one guy is that J.J. McCarthy is just kind of, he's all right. Whether it's Ryan Kelly, who might be his best friend when he had been here for 3 weeks.
3 hours.
Thielen's one of the greatest guys he's ever been around in his life.
Not close, worked together in the offseason.
Loves the coach. J.J. McCarthy is an elevator. I think he's the Vikings version of Kevin Gorg.
Yeah.
Because he will not speak negatively about anybody, and if you are having a bad day...
Sit up in that Canterbury press box for about 4.5 months, and you rethink that thing. But anyway, go ahead.
I love Kevin Gorg. I love that JJ loves absolutely every person he's ever talked about.
Same. Now, Monday night, the most identifiable person in the Minnesota Vikings passing game, because we haven't seen Jefferson since the Arizona L against McVay. All right, so JJ, cool. What's Jefferson going to get? All right, cool. Thielen still has juice, but the Bears know that. So, and you got this two-headed running attack. I think the one sitting on a big game Monday night, he's TJ.
I always love that.
Hawkinson's fixing to run up and down the field, so the fans right in front of us at Soldier Field at the club level, they're going to miss the pass covering, backpedaling prowess of Jack Sanborn.
I always love that.
If we had Sanborn, he wouldn't be getting loose and stroking the post. Are you kidding me?
That's Vikes Bites presented by.
Let me add one.
Oh yeah,
O'Connell. Yesterday, when he was talking about Max Brosmer, and he was praising the NFL for the third quarterback designation, the emergency quarterback and stuff like that, and I completely agree with him. But he said something about Max Brosmer that, I just don't want it to be lost on the audience. When the reigning head coach of the year says, quote, "I feel confident Max could enter and move the team."
Oh my gosh.
Again, undrafted quarterbacks don't land on final 53s unless they have big potential either now or down the road. So this is into the first game of the season. And when asked about the undrafted Sky Yuma, quote, "I feel confident if Max had to enter, he would move the team."
Oh my gosh.
So, man, seriously, this Brosmer thing, it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
It's hot.
It's 9:42. You're listening to 9 to Noon at FM 100.3 KFAN. Around the corner, Nordo has crafted something called If Not Now, When? And I have no idea what it means. But I'm excited to find out, just like you. And we're going to do it all together at FM 100.3 KFAN, your audio home for Minnesota Vikings football. Oh, good. I mean, pick your poison with that defense.
Yeah, so PA, kind of the idea behind...
Think the audience can take a joke?
I think they can.
I just got a flu shot in the break room, and they said because of your age, there's this one. And I'm like, and then, they say that this one for 55 and older is the right one. And I'm like, who's they? And they said the CDC. And I said, yeah, because they did such a good job in 2020.
I always love that one.
I was just kidding, CDC devotees. Okay, but anyway.
But you did get the flu shot.
Yeah, we're cool, man. We're good. I do it every year.
Now you're all fresh and ready to rock.
Ready, man. I got a nice little buzz
for the fall and winter season. You got buzzed off of the shot?
Yeah, the 55 and older flu shot gives you a little buzz.
A little extra in the tank for that one.
Man, Bethany, can I get one in my right arm too? Ain't no buzz. Okay. FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act. No buzz with that flu shot.
Yeah.
Not a CDC devotee, not a CDC ripper. Quite honestly, don't care. And if not now, when?
If not now, when? This is kind of NFL at large fodder. And I was just thinking, like, into the season, we're pumped. Like, J.J. McCarthy, great opportunity in front of him. You got NFL mainstays, the Mahomes, the Josh Allens of the world, the Burrows and Lamars, et cetera. Lamar would maybe be a good example of if not now, when, in terms of getting over the hump in the playoffs.
Well, I see what you're doing here.
But I actually kind of went the lower hangers. Some of the guys out there where if you're not going to show us what you have now, when is it ever going to happen? I got a few names on the list here, and here's the first one.
Kyler, shotgun, Rondale Moore in motion, throws it over the middle. Hey, throw an interception again. Yes, you did, Kyler. And that one goes to Cam Bynum, who heads to the left side, 30-35, and he's taken down. We can do the safety dance today. Hitman, Bynum, both interceptions, and the Vikings lead 34-26.
So when I think about Kyler Murray, I think about if not now, when? It's his seventh season. It's only one winning record in a season as a starter. And that year, by the way, an 11-win team, I believe, they go and they just get absolutely just handled by the Rams. If you remember, he's running for his life in the end zone, just, as you say, throwing those arm punts. And we saw it on the biggest of stages.
He throws pump passes. He did the moonwalk into the end zone, threw it right to a linebacker.
So, but Kyler intrigues me, though, because I know that the injury was a situation. That was a thing. That was a setback. I get that. But he's such an interesting case because he's never been hideous, PA. He'll never throw you 30 TDs. He's never eclipsed 4,000 yards. But he's a career 67 completion guy, 67% completion. He makes the plays. He finds the guys. But then, and because you can win with that number, but then he throws those weird interceptions. He's been an efficient runner and for the most part, a smart runner in his career. Not the Lamar run first, not Justin Fields is on this list. I don't know if we'll even get to him, but he doesn't run like that. He runs smartly, but then he'll also run around in the backfield for 15 real-time seconds and take the awful sacks. So defense is improving under Gannon. top 10-ish run game. Everybody loves Trey McBride. Trey McBride, by the way, like the new Julio Jones, he'll have 120 catches and 1 TD over the course of his season.
Right.
Marvin Harrison Jr. in his sophomore campaign has the right to be better. I think he will.
I love him this year.
But this year and next year, before the dead cap goes away and the team can move on, this is they're favored over 8.5 wins, even money for under 8.5. I'm just thinking about Kyler going, if not now, when?
Well, like the MVP, if not now, when into last season would have been Sam Darnold. I mean, that would have been Sam, if not now, when.
It's a good point, yeah.
Well, the when led to a lot of wins until we got to the end.
Yeah.
So with Kyler, Drew Petzing, former Vikings coach, very, very smart, Middlebury College, go crazy. As his offensive coordinator, they did good work with Kyler last year. And they because Kyler is rather slight of frame. So the running and taking the hits like Lamar and Josh Allen, well, that's gonna knock my man out for half a season one of these days. Well, he's more responsible with that. So just getting him to slow down would lead to the when he has arrived. And this is somebody around whom we can build.
Yeah.
I can't say he's that guy now. Honestly, I can't say he's ever going to be that guy. So if not now, when, Kyler? I think I don't think the when will come to fruition.
How about another one? This guy, big opportunity for him. A lot of new around him.
Lawrence on the move, launching down the middle, intercepted. Overthrew the man in Damar Hamlin. A huge roar as one of the most popular, inspiring Bills comes up with the take.
How about Trevor Lawrence? Fifth season, got paid.
Yep.
And there are a couple examples of, well, we have to give these people $200 million, or that's just the nature of things. We can look to our neighbors in the East.
I'm a believer.
Well, new head coach, whole bit, but if not now, when? Trevor Lawrence will throw maybe the most beautiful ball you've ever seen, and then he will miss a wide open guy, overthrow him, like you heard in that highlight there, to Damar Hamlin.
Right.
Bad completion percentage at times, but he can also be one of the more clutch players that you'll watch. He is enigmatic and inconsistent in those ways. 2022, great example of it. Up and down season for him. Then he finds his way to that epic comeback against Brandon Staley and the Chargers. I think he threw like 4 touchdowns in the second half. Then the next week, well, they're absolutely going to get dominated at Arrowhead. No, very game in that game, and they lose by a score at Arrowhead, but they were right there in the mix. And then 2023, 8 or 9-3. And he just absolutely plummets through the freaking floor. They lose 5 or 6 and lose their way out of the playoffs last year, up and down because of health-related issues. So, new coach, Duval, with Liam Cohn. Brian Thomas, highly touted rookie, Travis Hunter. The run game can be good. In fact, I think Cohen's bid, if you're taking him out of Bucks land, they have Bigsby, they have Etienne. But they got 2 rookies that they also kept on the final 53. I think
running backs.
It's going to be all about their moving company, Ezra Cleveland and all of those. I don't memorize their O-line, but
I can't name
running the ball effectively and doing absolutely everything they can to give Trevor Lawrence a chance to, if not now, when, and elevate his game to a spot where this is potentially a playoff contender.
And now Cohen is a branch on the McVay tree. So I'm not going to say because what O'Connell has done offensively and won Coach of the Year, that it's going to work that way for Cohen, but it's supposed to. I mean, if you follow the middle zone principles and play off them the way O'Connell does, there's gold in them thar hills. The system is just tried and true and proven, at least in most situations. So I love how you laid that out, because with Lawrence, Cohen et al. Know it's there. So now it's the mental gymnastics and the mental gyrations to make sure he knows it's there and it's always there.
Yeah.
And you know what? If Brian Thomas breaks off the shallow cross a little later than you would like and you throw it behind him and it's incomplete, man. don't beat yourself up. See, I think Trevor, I'm pretty sure Trevor gets really down on himself during the course of games when things don't work well. Well, when you bring in new staffs and, there are a lot of new coaches, so maybe the coaches who were there, who can provide that information, maybe they didn't provide it to Liam, or maybe they did trying to keep their jobs and then they were out. But that's kind of the under the radar rap on Lawrence, is that he just gets into a malaise.
Is he a sulker?
Sometimes during but you can't see it though.
Right.
It's like it's an internalizing thing where it's like almost surrogate dad needs to be like, my man, just slow your brain down. We're going to be okay.
Like when you rip Charch on the feast and he's gone for 3 segments?
Well, he moves to Utah. He went from missing 3 segments to not emailing me over the weekend with how I thought Friday went to moving to Utah. Well, that might be Trevor Lawrence. So that's why Liam's there.
Oh.
And I think the Jags are going to push the Texans right to the wire.
For the AFC South. They have a great opportunity, yeah.
And the Texans, shiny toy terrorism again, in my opinion. But I think they'll win the South. But I think Jacksonville's going to jump up a little bit.
Yeah. The other one that I did want to get to, but I want to get to Lieber in studio with us next, was Tua. I mean, if not now, when? The only
That's
year.
That's great. Yeah, save that for him, because yesterday when you were gone, I crafted something called 32 and 23. And just a nugget or a pop or two on each team. And when I got to Miami, I was kind of like, what's Tua's identity? Yeah. I mean, it's like, what's he really good at? What's he really bad at? They're both hard to define.
Yeah.
He lacks identity, and he's a quarterback, and that's a problem. Ben Lieber, beloved Nacho, around the corner. It's 10 o'clock. Good morning.